Let me introduce you to the wonderful world of Zelig, a Woody Allen film. Now, I remember watching this when it came out back in the day, and I sort of fell asleep watching it, although it's a tour de force for the era, the late 80s when it came out. Now, I bought this a while ago and never actually got round to watching it. It was a sealed copy, and the other night I thought, okay then, let's give this one a spin. Black and white film, Woody Allen, can't be too bad. And if we turn over this image, you see it says Laserdisc, which usually is a sign for digital production, and we turn it over, we've got the usual Warner Brothers back end here, the silver strip, digitally processed extended play Laserdisc, digitally processed. Okay, now let's have a look when we play this. So as we can see, it's the normal Warner Brothers Laserdisc, L on the hair, I assume it's a digital process, black and white colour, 79 minutes, and the usual stuff. Other side, the usual stuff. And so I thought I'll give this a spin. So here we are, we have a 925 connected to a VP50, which goes HDMI out to the TV. And I'll put in the disc. It's digitally out from the VP50 to, well, from the 925 to the VP50, and then HDMI to the TV. So let's not worry about any screen ratios, etc., etc. But I'm now going to put this in for an evening's worth of, well, actually 79 minutes worth of watching the TV. Here we go. Oh, play. There's the disc spinning up. NTSC. Let's turn up the volume. There is no volume to turn up. I can mute this. 58. And here we are. So let's spin this through a little bit. And there's these people talking about Zelig in this mockumentary film where Woody Allen appears in his various characters throughout history. And yes, a great character Woody Allen is, or Zelig is rather. Speed on a bit further. Oh, there's Woody Allen. There's Woody Allen in the 1920s. He plays a character who turns up in various historical events, a human chameleon or something like that. So there he is. But as you can hear, or not hear, there actually is no sound. If I spin over to the other side, this one's actually quite funny because you actually get an aggravating side break that comes up that tells you, oh look, here we are, part 2. Well, that's really good, nice to know. So here we go, and Mia Farrow talking supposedly in the 1920s to Woody Allen, and there's actually no sound. I won't touch this again, this remote. I'll just put that to one side. So we'll go and swap this over now. We'll take it out of here and we'll find a little pile of films we have down here. Let's do Magambo side something or other. side 2 for Magambo. This is Magambo, by the way, just in case you wanted to know. Somewhere in Africa, the great white hunter sorts it out. Anyway, this is side 2 of Magambo. Notice the digital sound, Laserdisc. And here's the sound from Magambo. Now the great white hunter appears. Can we turn up the sound here? Yeah, we can turn up the sound here now. So that's sound. Now I notice, if I go back to the Magambo one, it says digital sound, Laserdisc. Or any other digital sound Laserdiscs. Well, there's one here. That's another one with Laserdisc. But there's no, doesn't say digital sound on this, I'll give it that. But it does say digitally processed. So one assumes that it's an analog. Anyway, let's not believe Ava Gardner and Clark Gablewood video. Let's go upstairs and try a different machine, because like with computers, you always need one to prove that another one isn't working, or rather you need two to prove that one isn't working. So let's go upstairs and give it a spin. Now here's Pale Rider, a Warner Brothers release from about the same sort of period, and down here it says digitally processed on the cover with the Laserdisc symbol. And down here on the label it actually does say digitally processed. Now if I look at the Zelig cover, it actually says digitally processed. But I notice on the label, though it says has the little laser vision thing there, which may or may not indicate a digital product of the late 80s, it doesn't actually say digitally processed, which is interesting. So let's now go and give this a spin and see if it plays on the machine up here. So here we go with Pale Rider into the machine. Play. Sounds doing something or other there. And here we go. And there we have it, etc, etc, etc. There's Pale Rider. Now next, out it comes, in goes Zelig. Play. And absolutely no sound whatsoever. So this is digital out to the amp. So there's no digital sound on this disc. So it's digitally processed. So it's digitally processed, whatever. Anyway, let's try again. So now we take it up to one more machine, and this time we try the analog inputs into a TV. And let's give this one a spin. Up we go. And lo and behold, we have sound.
He was the phenomenon of the 20s. When you think that at that time he was as well known as Lindbergh, it's really quite astonishing.
His story reflected the nature of our civilization, the character of our times, yet it was also one man's story. And all the themes of our culture were there: heroism, will, things like that. But when you look back on it, it was very strange.
Well, it is ironic to see how quickly he...
So there we have it. Rather bizarrely, we have Zelig, which is digitally processed. I suppose you have digitally processed analog sound, which is quite true. But why it doesn't actually say analog or say anything of anything, is you would assume this was a standard digital disc that you could play through a digital output. But obviously not. It's rather strange. I've never encountered one of these before, but there again, not all the time have I ever had Laserdisc players connected up digitally. Sometimes they have in the past been connected up through analog connections. So maybe there are some more lurking out there, and I'm just a complete idiot for not spotting them or thinking about it. But it does seem to be rather odd that it only comes with a analog soundtrack. Very strange. Anyway, there's the odd one out. Zelig, or supposedly the odd one out. There might be more floating around. That has an analog soundtrack on a Laserdisc that supposedly has digital sound. Well, that's it. Have fun. Thanks for watching. As a coda to my rantings, I've also went through a quick look at something, and I found Revolution, which I think when I bought it was an NTSC disc, but actually it was a PAL CCAM disc. 625 lines, eh? Sounds good. And that has the little Laser Vision logo. And this, I found out, only has analog sound, though it doesn't actually say anything about it here, which is interesting. I think this transfer was done in a coal mine, because you can't actually see anything of the picture really. It's really quite appalling. Oh, it's falling down the back now. So that's the end of that. Anyway, so that was that one.